What's up? This is Carcino here, and I am a big advocate fan of the show Undisputed. I love Skip and Shannon's chemistry on the show. I love the back and forth and entertaining. We've been watching the show since it started. Now, I have not sat down and watched First Take ever since. Refused to watch it because it was trash. Without Skip, there is no show. And Max is just a fill-in. But he's not close to being Skip. With that being said, there have been a situation where that has presented itself that has been going on, I guess, on the set for quite some time. There have been reports of explosions on the set as far as Skip's outbursts that things aren't a certain way on the show. Tantrums, anger issues, and just straight out stubbornness. If certain things aren't a certain way, he would just shut down and go into a full meltdown mode before returning back to normal. And some of the things we see on the set, on the show, has turned out to be some of their best shows. But some of the people that work there, it has been a grueling process. Now, this season, of any season ever, Undisputed has had issues in scheduling guests. In their first two seasons, they scheduled a whole bunch of guests for their shows that used to come on. Now their guests have been reoccurring and mostly former athletes that played, but noticeably not a lot of current playing athletes. Most players in the NBA despise Skip Bayless because of his views on certain athletes, mostly LeBron James, and the word of mouth has traveled. Recently, CJ McCollum didn't like the way he was assessing Kawhi Leonard, and other players just don't like Skip Bayless. The NFL is another place where a lot of players don't like Skip Bayless unless they're the Cowboys. But a lot of them won't come on his show. They're saying, we're not going to give that guy ratings. I'm not going to give him any ratings off of me. And anybody that's friends of mine, I don't want them going on Skip Bayless' show. This conversation has been happening, I guess, with people saying, don't go on that show. And it's not just Skip. Um, some of the people had a problem with the way Shannon Sharpe was looking down and had basically a old mentality when it came to dealing with younger players in the NFL. A lot of younger players in the NFL don't want to come on Undisputed because of Shannon Sharpe. They don't like Odell Beckham and people that are associated with him. They feel like he's out of touch. And then they feel he's a bit of a hypocrite because he bashed them for being dumb enough to take these chances and failing these tests. But yet he's on television promoting Uncle Shannon, who's got like marijuana gum, cannabis gum, and all this stuff, and smoking stogies and rolling up got the yak and all these different things. You're promoting this character on the show, but yet you're condemning the athletes who have to go and live under this ruling, but you're promoting it on your show. So the hypocrisy between the two, that narrative has always been there and continuously moved forward to this day. But people who work there, former people, said Skip Bayless is tough to work for. He can sometimes be narcissistic and very unpolite. He wants things in a certain particular way, and if they're not there, you will get a meltdown or an explosion. Now, it's not saying Skip's a bad person, but he's probably a perfectionist when it comes to his show. Like, Skip don't have another thing set up. It's the show, and that's it. Like, this is his bread and butter. This is what he does. This is what he loves. He gets up in the morning. He wants to do Undisputed. If anybody knows anything about Skip Bayless wants to do Undisputed at all times. So he has a system. When he comes there, he likes the system to go his way. That's fine. I get that. I understand it. But quite sure there's some growing pains when it comes to working with someone full time than being a guest on the show. Me personally, I have no problem with Skip Bayless, but I don't work on the show. So when I heard this news, I was like, man, that's interesting. You know, I thought Shannon would be the one that wasn't a peach on the show, but they say Shannon would sometimes challenge him on the show and won't listen. You know, they used to have some heated, heated, like like to the point where they weren't even speaking to each other for a while before they actually got back to actually talking to one another. Like there were some weeks where they didn't even speak, but on the show they were like best friends. It was shocking to hear, to say the least, for some parts of it. But then again, it could be a disgruntled employee, you know, unstable source. You know, it's one of those internet floating things, so it don't surprise me. But people not going on the show, I knew about that a long time ago. And Skip does not care. Skip does not care if you want to do Undisputed or you don't want to do Undisputed. He will do the whole damn show by himself. That's his baby. Most people won't understand that. And me, I do. In case you don't know, I came up mostly in the boxing field. People knew me from covering fighters and everything else. I'm like this. I know people in the business that has the same ideology as the people that make these shows. I know people who would just crack if they couldn't get a boxing interview with somebody. If they called to get a boxing interview and the interviewer didn't want to like do the interview, or they call and say let's do it at this time and they renege on the time and things of that nature, they would just get mad. I mean, mad to the point where they almost hate the fighter because he promised to do something and didn't deliver, or he blew them off. They would just hate it. Like their whole world would crumble. I'm like, he doesn't owe you anything. Why are you mad at him? He doesn't owe you nothing. Do what you're supposed to do. What you worried about him for? Do your job. Sometimes we put our mental focus, like, I'll talk about boxing all day. I don't need anybody to sit here. That's why I told people, I'm like, I could talk boxing all day. I don't need another fighter here to validate my statement. But if he wants to be here, just great for the show. But if not, I could do it without him. So I can understand that coming from Skip. It's the passion about what you're doing. You're not doing this for guests. You're doing it for the audience. You're entertaining them. You're getting your message to them. I'm not speaking to the fighter. I'm speaking to the audience. That's how Skip is. Skip is speaking to his audience. And that's how he likes to move about. And with that being said, I'm asking you guys to, if you want to donate to the page, my Cash App is Carcino, Carceno, or you could click the link in the description box and hit up the Streamlab. I think Streamlab is through doing what it's doing now. I think it was doing some type of reboot process or something like that. But yeah. But anyway, I think that's back working now. And anyway, I'm out. Y'all have a blessed day.